Okay, I'm going to get right to it. Um, want to talk about a subject that you probably already heard of, and if you've seen any of my videos, you've definitely heard of it. And there are many good videos to watch from many people, but this is about the Mandela effect and what kind of effect it's had on people. A lot of people have told me in their comments that they don't like to say that it's had an effect on them because they feel like if they're affected or they're suffering from the effect, then it's some kind of a illness, and people, it somehow weakens their resolve that in the fact that it's real, or weakens other people's opinion in thinking that it's an actual thing that's happening. Rather, they might think that they're just suffering in the way that perhaps a delusional person might be suffering. I'm sorry if I'm moving this phone around. That's what I have to take this video with, is a phone. So, anyway, until I get my own production studio, which is a very unlikely thing at this point in my life, I think we're going to have to work with this. So anyway, the thing is, I've come across many Mandela effects, and I do every day because I'm always looking to see what's going on. And I think everybody should be looking to see what's going on, but they're not. So anyway, one of the things that I came across recently, and again, Betty White is still alive. How can that happen? Anyway, I came across Scopitones. Now, let me explain what that is. Pardon me. A Scopitone is a movie, but it's a video, basically. Way before MTV, what happened, and let me preface this whole thing with the fact that I'm 60-ish, I'm not 40-ish. I've often joke around and say, man, I wish I was 50 years old again. You know, like people say, I wish I was young. It's kind of funny. I wish I was 53 again. But anyhow, all my life I've listened to the same type of music, and a lot of it has to do with the 50s and throughout the entire 60s, especially from the early 60s with the Everly Brothers to the Beatles at the end of the 60s and the Rolling Stones in those years. My brother was in a famous band way back in the day, and so all of us in my family played guitar. My father played guitar and mandolin. My grandfather played the fiddle and guitar and mandolin, among other things. And his father probably played too. I don't really know, because that goes back awful long time ago. My father was born in 1919, and my mother in 1918. So that gives you an idea of how old my parents were. And my grandfather born in the old Western days, and his father born, I believe, in Germany, from what I could look up. Anyway, I'm sidetracking, but it's early morning, and I'm getting to something here that's important. All my life I've studied these types of music and the Beatles and things like that. I paid close attention, and I've watched all their videos many times. The other day I came across one that I've never seen before, and what struck me as being odd was not that I'd never seen it, because that could happen, but what struck me as being very odd was that it looked new. It looked like, what I mean by new, it looked like it had been shot with a digital camera, and I don't believe it's been altered from what I can see. I don't think it's a computer regeneration, because the other Beatles videos don't look like that. So I compared it with the other Beatles videos, and it looks very, very new-ish to me, very 21st century, which doesn't make sense to me. It does, but only if you include the Mandela effect. Anyhow, I went further and I looked up some videos and some articles about what they did back in the day. Now, I remember putting money in jukeboxes many, many times, and that was one thing I used to enjoy about going out to eat, to the malt shop, the burger joint, go out with my parents even. They had these little jukeboxes at the table, and you could used to pester my parents, can I have a quarter, please? Play 3 songs for a quarter. And so you put in a dime or a quarter, and you play your songs. I pick out the Beatles and the Stones and stuff like that, the Animals. But anyhow, I never watched a video back in the 60s, because they didn't have them. They didn't have them like MTV type videos. But I was watching a video where they do now, or they did now in this timeline. So what has happened now, people used to go into juke joints or bars or restaurants, put their quarter in the jukebox, and then watch the video. And this is starting in 1960. Actually, it goes back further. They were doing it in the 40s too. But it was, in the 40s, it was a continuous loop where you put the money in and you see whatever comes up. There was a reel of 7 movies, and I don't remember what the machines were called. But the Scopitones are machines that you can look up, and there's several different brands, because this is evidently now a very popular thing for people to watch a video when they were out. So I never heard of it. I've never had a friend who said they'd heard of it. I never saw it mentioned in a magazine. Uh-oh, I got a call. First time for everything. 2 seconds, the magic of video.